Oh man, my husband, he has this girl best friend, and I've been overlooking it because he tells me, "Oh honey, I don't have any feelings for her. Ew, she's like my sister. We've been friends forever." Well, you know what? If she's your friend, why she's buying you all these expensive watches, ties, all these luxury brands, and I see the way she looks at him. I'm not stupid. I know a woman's instinct. I am one. Anyways, you guys, stay tuned. This is a wild story. I've read a lot of stories about a problematic girl best friend, but I didn't think it'd happen to me. Hey guys, I'm currently in my 30s, working in a talent agency. I was brought up by my grandmother amidst financial struggles. I remained grounded and value my humble beginnings, so I don't show off my success to anyone. My husband, let's call him Jack, has a very, very problematic friend. Let's call her Emily. She's been causing so much drama that I'm starting to regret not having taken the friendship more seriously before getting married. So, before going into detail, I just want to clarify that my husband and I love each other very much. We met during a networking event 3 years ago, and the relationship has been incredibly loving. We both work in a show business. I'm a manager at a talent agency, and he's a sound engineer. His family loves me, and when we got married a year ago, his mom made even a traditional bracelet in his culture. He's a second-generation immigrant. She said she wanted to make me feel loved even though my parents could not be there on my wedding day. This is because they had a fatal car accident when I was a kid. Well, I was raised by my grandmother, but she sadly passed away just a few years ago as well. My husband and his family became the only family that I have. Now, I guess here is where Emily and I clash. Our backgrounds are completely different from each other. I value my humble childhood and honestly take pride in how far I've come. So it's not like I'm jealous of her, but it is the truth that Emily has had it easy from the very beginning. Jack told me that she grew up in a rich family. Her grandfather used to own a huge coal mine, which seemed to have made him enough money for generations. Emily is very, very big on appearance, and I guess that rubbed me the wrong way. I don't like people who boast too much, especially about things they didn't even earn themselves, am I right? Anyways, we got off on the wrong foot for sure. The tension between me and Emily has been there since our first meeting. Well, Jack said that he wanted to introduce me to his friend group from college, so he arranged a cozy gathering for everyone. It was quite a big group, around 10 to 12 people, because my husband was a very outgoing guy in college. Emily showed up late and immediately jumped at my husband the second she walked in. I'm not even exaggerating. She almost managed to wrap her legs around my husband's waist, and of course Jack took a polite step back. He was still very welcoming to her though, and I thought that was kind of odd. But I told myself, I'm just overthinking. Maybe she's just that happy to see him, and I heard from Jack that they haven't met since graduation because she did a master's program abroad. So I brushed it off. Still, that whole evening was weird. She was rude to me, suggesting that I didn't understand Jack as much as she did. But everybody was just laughing, trying to play it off as some kind of drunken joke. She later privately told my husband that she didn't like me for him. I found out because I was eavesdropping on him in the bathroom, and I'm not really proud of it. So when I confront him, we got into an argument, and he said that she was just looking out for him, and she'd grown to like me in no time. I felt as though I had to prove myself to her. Even though I didn't like her to begin with, it was frustrating. I didn't expect myself to like all of my husband's friends, but I did expect him to be on my side. I don't know, it felt like he was close to her, and he chose her over me. Anyways, every time she appears in our life, she annoys me. She keeps approaching my husband without any reasonable purpose, like asking him to run errands for her because her car broke down, or borrowing his car for 2 days straight for God knows what. She would drop by from time to time, which is supposed to be sweet, but her sense of humor is tasteless, to say the least. She makes these snide comments, comparing my fashion taste to hers, saying things like, "I'll just have to take you out shopping sometime, huh? I'm not the one who always dresses up with these gorgeous outfits like her, but at least I'm neat and put together." Emily often buys these luxury goods and boasts about her lavish lifestyle, and I just try to ignore her every time. Every time she makes fun of me, I did tell my husband that I don't like her around our house too often, and he said that he's going to take care of it, and I don't know what conversation they have with each other, but she did stop coming over. So I was just at peace for a while. However, guys, things turned ugly. Oh, they turned for the worse at Jack's birthday party. This is where things got really ugly, and I was about to write this post today. So it was supposed to be a fun gathering with his friends, and we wanted to book the whole floor of our favorite restaurant for ourselves. You know, Emily said that she could help with the booking, even, because she knew that the owner of the restaurant was going to be there, so we just let her handle it. That evening, when we arrived, we found out that it was not booked. We found we would have to squish into an 8 top, even though we were a group of 12. Fine, I was annoyed, for real, but I compromised. Emily showed up late and apologized, saying she was too busy picking out the best present for my husband that she forgot. Everyone else just sort of forgave her, so I didn't say anything. When it was time to open up the gifts, Emily asked Jack if he could open hers last, because it was such a special present. Well, that rubbed me the wrong way, but everybody was sort of tipsy and having fun, so again, I didn't say anything. Jack nodded to Emily, but he could see that I was uneasy. So he opened my present first, saying that it's from the woman he loved the most in the world. I swear I saw Emily's smile freeze right there on her face. Anyways, things got serious when it was Emily's turn. She brought him such an expensive fancy watch, limited edition, personalized, and not that many people have access to it, so I'm pretty sure it must have cost a fortune. Well, it was something that I knew he wanted because he would talk about saving up for it for months. Jack was very happy with it. As soon as he opened the gift wrap, he practically jumped on the table. He gave Emily a big hug, and everyone was cheering for them. I was extremely uncomfortable at this point, and I felt like I was left out even though I was his wife. I organized the whole party for him, and I mean, he tried to show his appreciation for my gift, but it felt a bit forced compared to how happy he was when he received Emily's. I gave him a handmade scarf, which is the same style as the one he gave me on our first date. It didn't come from a luxury brand, but both Jack and I knew that I made it with so much love. Plus, now we have a cute pair of couple scarves. Anyways, when Jack saw how uncomfortable I was, he tried to comfort me. He put the scarf I gave him on, telling me how happy he was that I put the party together for him. Emily laughed out loud when she saw the scarf sitting on my husband's shoulder, and I was really taken back. But I guess she was too drunk to understand that she was being inappropriate, and she yelled, "It looks horrible on you," and then turned to me and went, "You should have done better." Most people started to feel awkward, but some were too drunk to understand what was even happening. So they laughed along with Emily, and I was just livid at this point, you know. I got closer to her and shoved her right in the shoulder. It wasn't like a push, it was just a frustration that this girl thought she could do anything she wanted. And I told her, "Get it together, you're being inappropriate." To my surprise, the girl started to cry. That's right. Some friends were concerned, so they got closer to comfort her, but that only made it worse, and she then grabbed my shirt and asked why I was so mean to her. Even though she was just trying to be nice. I pushed her away, but the girl was drunk, so she lost her balance and she ended up throwing up at the table next to us. It was hideous. The guy on the table was also drunk and got up to teach Emily a lesson. He was grabbing her and hair, and everyone intervened and broke them up. The police had to be called, and yeah, it was a mess to say the least. As if it wasn't bad enough, Jack blamed me for ruining his birthday on our way home. I was really disappointed. I can't believe that my husband can let this girl insult his wife like that, let alone take her side. We had a huge fight, and I gave him an ultimatum. Cut contact with her or I'll move out. He hasn't given me an answer, and he slept in the guest room that night, and it's been 2 days now, and we haven't talked to each other. He's giving me the silent treatment, but I don't want to change my mind. I mean, what should I do now? I don't understand why he can just overlook these qualities in her. Update number 1. Oh, hey everyone, I do want to say thank you for all the comments. I was meaning to write an update so much sooner, but I've been very busy at work and I just didn't have the time for it. So here I am writing an update 4 months later. Long story short, Jack and I are doing better now. When I asked Jack to cut contact with Emily, he didn't talk to me for like 3 days. I didn't talk to him either, and we were just roommates who happened to share their last names. It was hard, but I didn't want to back down. I've been having problems with Emily for a long time now, and I know that if I didn't address it then, I would never be able to do it. On the fourth day, something happened. There was an opportunity for me to move to another city and work on a project with a new branch that my agency just opened. It's a really good deal because the pay is amazing, and if things go well with the project, it's highly likely that I'll get a promotion. I wanted to go, but that also meant that I would have to leave Jack for 2 months. I mean, it's not that bad because I would not be far away. It's only a 3-hour drive, so we could still see each other on the weekends. But I was a bit concerned because we were obviously going through a tough patch. And I don't know if some distance is good for us right now, you know? Well, anyways, I finally broke the silence and told him that I only had a few days to think about this. I just needed to get back to my boss by the beginning of the next week and tell him if I wanted to go. My husband unexpectedly was very supportive. He even apologized for being unable to communicate his feelings and stressing me out. And I told him about my concerns, and he said that he thinks some distance could be a good thing for us. Then he asked me to give him a few more days to sort things out with Emily. So, the next day, I went into the office and told my boss that I'm picking up on the project. A few days later, Jack finally gave in and told me that he's going to cut contact with Emily. He apologized for having given me the silent treatment and explained that it's just hard for him to let go of one of his closest friends. He would have to explain this to his friend group too, so it's not really easy on him at all. But he had taken care of everything. Things have been so much better for us ever since, so I moved and Jack was very supportive of me throughout the whole process. He drove through hours to see me every weekend, and he was very romantic. He would buy me flowers, take me out to dinner, and overall become a lot more affectionate. I was really busy with work because I want to give this project my all, but it was very reassuring to know that I have someone in my corner like Jack. I don't have to worry about anything and focus on work, and Emily actually respected the fact that my husband wanted no contact with her. She didn't call, she didn't text, she didn't come over ever again, and I guess she was also embarrassed about what happened at the restaurant. Anyways, I hope that was what you were looking for. When I wrote the first post, I didn't expect things to look up so quickly, but here I am. Thanks again, guys, for all your help and support. Update number 2. Hello, everyone. I really thought my last update would be my last, but a lot of things happened in the last few months, and I realized that I've gotten myself into a huge mess, and I need your help. So, the 2 months that I spent in another city was really amazing. I got to focus on work, which is something that I'm very passionate about, and Jack was being more than supportive of me. I thought he was just trying to make up for me, but now I'm not sure if that was indeed his intentions anymore. So, a few days after I got back to my hometown, Emily called. Jack picked up and turned on the speakerphone so I could listen in. Their conversation made me believe that this was the first time that they had talked in months. Emily was obviously embarrassed to talk about what happened at Jack's birthday party, and I kind of felt bad for them. Anyways, after some small chit-chat, Emily explained why she decided to reach out to Jack. Even though she knew it would be inappropriate, she admitted to having a drinking problem, and explained why she was constantly acting out in public. Well, both my husband and I were surprised to hear it. We knew Emily had a weird sense of humor, and could be feisty sometimes, but we did not expect it to be alcohol addiction. Then she claimed to have sobered up in the last few months, and she said that the incident was so embarrassing. It motivated her to change, and she's now having a happy relationship with a new guy named Alex, who helped her through everything. My husband congratulated her on her new relationship, and then she said that she wanted the 4 of us to meet up so that she could officially apologize to me. It's still hard for me to believe that she was, sincere, but I wanted to give her the benefit of the doubt and give a chance. I'd never seen her so desperate and apologetic before. Plus, I didn't want to be that woman who forbids her partners from having close female friends. So I figured reconciling with her is the best thing to do for Jack. And so, I reluctantly agreed just to go meet with Emily and Alex for dinner. My husband said he's going to make the reservation this time, so I let him organize everything. I was held up in my office, so when I arrived at the place, the 3 of them were already there. Surprisingly, the moment I walked in, I realized I knew who Emily's new boyfriend was. We worked for the same agency. He's new, so he hasn't been introduced to me yet, and we worked in a different department, and plus I was just away for over 2 months, But I was certain that I had seen his file on my boss's desk. I'd heard great things about him at work, and people have been impressed with his talent for sales. I was quite happy for Emily because he seemed like she met a decent guy. Finally, with a decent job. I didn't mention being Alex's boss during dinner because I didn't think it was a good time. Plus, it would have made things a bit awkward for him, and Emily's apology had already made things tense enough. And I was going to be officially introduced to him anyways, so it's not like it's a secret. But here's the problem. When I later met Alex at work, the guy seemed embarrassed, almost alert, to see me there. He was so friendly and charismatic the night before, but for some reason he was really taken aback that I was his boss. A few weeks after that, I received a report about a maxed-out company card, and I realized it belongs to Alex. I knew, as his boss, I need to handle it. But as Emily's friend, at least that's why we're trying to be, I didn't know what the best course of action would have been, so I called Alex into my office and confronted him almost immediately. The guy admitted to having used it to buy his girlfriend all sorts of luxury goods. It was as if he knew he would get caught sooner or later. I said I had to fire you, bro. He starts to cry, saying this job is the only thing he has. Then he begged me not to tell my husband or Emily about this. He said he needed time, but he would definitely pay the company back, and he also asked if I could do him a favor and not file a lawsuit. If I do, his life would be over. So, I worked out a deal with my boss, and we decided that we're not going to sue him. But Alex would have to take out a loan from the bank to pay us back, and I fired him anyways. But I still felt bad for the guy, and I asked him to grab a cup of coffee with me and see if I can help him with anything. I don't know why, but I just had a hunch that something is wrong and I needed to figure out what. Now, I'm supposed to meet with him tomorrow. A few hours ago, my husband accidentally saw my digital calendar and asked me who I was meeting with, and it was a relief that I didn't leave Alex's name on there. I said that I was meeting a coworker, and my husband laughed and said, "Oh, you're not meeting Alex alone, are you?" Well, I was a bit taken aback, so I didn't say anything, and my husband realized how weird he was being. He was trying to smooth things over by saying, "'Cause he's your coworker, and we've all gone out before." I brushed it off. Is it just me, or is something weird going on? And my husband's involved? I feel bad for having lied to him, but I had a feeling that I shouldn't tell him everything. Should I bring a voice recorder or something with me tomorrow? Just to be safe? I don't know why, but I'm so anxious about this. Update number 3. Hey guys, I just got back from the meeting with Alex, and there's way too many things I have to get off my chest, but long story short, I think my husband might be an absolute cheater. That's right. I think that he's cheating on me. Anyways, guys, Alex admitted to fraud. Said that making use of the company card was the only way for him to afford dating Emily, and she's into all sorts of fancy things. And she makes a fuss whenever Alex refused to buy her expensive presents, and I asked him why she wanted him to buy her stuff, while her family is very wealthy and she could probably just afford all that stuff herself. Well, that's where Alex revealed to me that her family is sort of broke, man. They're still living off her grandfather's fortune, but they've not been able to make any money on it. Both her parents tried to invest and open up their own business, but they failed miserably. So now if they're lucky, her grandfather's money could probably last them for another, few years. Emily's parents have stopped her from buying all the luxury goods for a while now. I was surprised considering how Emily always, and I mean always, wears all this sort of fancy clothing, and she used to belittle me for not being able to dress up like she does. Well, that does explain her drinking problems. I'm sure it's been a huge stress for her to have changed the way she spends money and, lives her life. Yeah, but at that point, one thing did not add up to me. I asked Alex why he stayed in such a toxic relationship where Emily's obviously taking advantage. That was when he started crying again. He said that she wasn't just asking for expensive presents. She made him pay for their rent, food, and travels, and just last week she made him pay for her brother's driving lessons for no reason. She bragged about him with her family, saying that Alex is so wealthy, hardworking, and in love with her that he would pay for anything that she asks for. It still didn't make sense to me why Alex stayed in that relationship. Just to keep his image up to her family? It didn't make any sense to me, so I pushed him. I said that if he didn't tell me the whole truth, I could not help him. He looked at me for a very long time and made a confession, one that left me shocked even now. He revealed to me that he has been abused by Emily from the get-go. The girl knew his secret. He's into guys and girls. He's dated men before, so she was threatening to tell his Catholic parents about it. If he doesn't want that to happen, he has to provide for her, so basically he's stuck with a loveless relationship and doesn't know how to get out without ruining his relationship with his family. As we're talking, Alex's phone suddenly rang. Emily called him, but he didn't pick up. He was afraid that she might find out about the meeting with me, and it rang for a while and then it just stopped. Then Emily texted him, and I told him to open the text right in front of me, and she sent him a luxury tie, asking him to pay for it. Well, that really proves to me that his story is truthful. However, I found it really weird that the tie she sent him is a man's tie. I checked multiple times from multiple sources, and I'm pretty sure that the tie was the size for men. That's when I came up with a theory. It's scary, but it makes sense. Maybe Emily's still buying my husband luxury stuff, and I just have a hunch that something fishy's going on between them. I mean, what should I do now? Part of me wants to believe my husband, but part of me knows that something is wrong and I need to find out what. I don't want to ruin my marriage, but what if my husband has been lying to me all along? Updates. Number 4. Hello, everyone. So it's been a week since I last posted, and I found out about a few things in the last week, which really confirmed my suspicions. My husband is at least cheating on me emotionally with Emily, and it's been really tough on me, and I feel like I don't even have time or the energy to really process it. There's so much for me to do, and I don't mean work. I still don't know if my husband and Emily are having a relationship, but I intended to find out. Anywho, I think I'll need to explain how I've come to the conclusion that my husband is a cheater. Long story short, I told Alex that I could not help with his debt, but we can do something about Emily. I figured, if she was financially abusing him, the least I could do is help him get out of the terrible situation. So I asked him for all the receipts and investigated the luxury goods he bought for Emily. I realized half of them are for men. Obviously, Alex was too busy to realize he was purchasing men's wear, and I'm pretty sure Emily would not have made such an amateur mistake. If she wants something, she's going to order it in the exact size and color that suits her the most. So the only answer that makes sense is that she brought the stuff for someone else. A man. I checked the sizes and they're all my husband's size, and at this point my gut feeling was already telling me that something was going seriously wrong. I waited until my husband left for work to drive back home and dig into all his belongings. That's where I found everything. Yep, I found absolutely everything. I found the luxury clothing, the ties, the accessories hidden in his drawer. They matched the list Alex gave me to the T. It turns out Emily's been buying things for him all along, and he's been receiving the gifts from her. Even during the time when he told me that they went no contact, it was quite a shock to me. I couldn't believe my husband would lie to me like that, you know. I'm sick to my stomach just thinking about how the love of my life has been unfaithful to me. I told Alex what I found out, and he asked what I wanted to do. I honestly don't know. I despise them, but I don't know what to do about it. This is a total nightmare. I mean, what should I do now? Should I just confront my husband and Emily? I have a feeling that he would lie again, and I wouldn't be able to trust my husband ever again. I need to figure out if they're indeed having a romantic relationship, but I don't know how. Final updates. Oh, hey guys, it's me. I'm back. Well, I'm sorry it took so much time to write the update. I was meaning to wrap it up sooner, but dealing with your husband's affair with his best friend has not been easy on me. 8 months later, here I am, and I'm in a much better place. This is probably the last update before I leave it and move on. But what happened? It was a literal mess. So after sitting with my anger for a bit, I decided to act. On one hand, I'm not a saint and I could not forgive my husband or Emily without a proper showdown. On the other hand, Alex was still in a tough spot and I wanted to do something about the situation. So I asked Alex to help me organize a family gathering, and later asked Emily to come and help out. Of course, Jack was there too. Nobody knew that Alex got fired at work, and everybody was carrying on like nothing ever happened. Emily was even trying to give me fake compliments on my outfits and decorations, but I took them, and she wouldn't be friendly for too long anyways. When we were decorating the house, I pretended to have an emergency at work and called Alex to leave with me. Of course, I've already asked Jack's family to gather around because it's a surprise party for them. I told them that he's been stressed later and I wanted to organize an early birthday gathering just for fun. Nobody knew. I planted a camera in the bedroom just so I could see what exactly happened that moment. Alex and I left together for work emergencies. We didn't have to wait for long because 10 minutes later we barged into the rest of the family, catching my husband and Emily in the act. Yeah, it was horrific. People gasping, awing, Emily crying, Jack repeatedly apologizing. He didn't even know that I set him up. Bada bing, bada boom. I filed for divorce right after that, and Jack's family was supportive of me. There was no excuse for his behavior. They even sued Emily, but the claim didn't hold up. So they only managed to put her into a rehabilitation center. You guessed it, her drinking problem did not go away like she said it did. Jack, on the other hand, had to pay me a decent amount of alimony. I'm not complaining at all. I moved to another city and got promoted to manager at the new branch. Life is good. I hired Alex for a junior position and monitor him very closely to avoid the same thing happening. He's been on his best behavior, though, and he still has to pay off his debt, but the guy is really hardworking, and I'm just glad I could help out. I guess we can now finally move on from the mess that Jack and Emily put us through.